And after we met at this dinner, we kept running into each other in the most random hot yoga studios.
Really?
Yeah. We both love hot yoga.
Me too.
And it was like multiple times. I'm like, okay, this is getting really consistent. This is funny. So that's how we met. We were spending a lot of time between New York and London. At that time, I was finishing college and also modeling. That's what I did for the first decade of my career. I had a very fun career modeling all over the world and ended up in London. And that's when I met Sara.
And so you ladies just met at like a hot yoga studio.
So we just kept running into each other, but at hot yoga studios. And then also, because I used to work a lot between like New York and also London. And so we ran into each other in another hot yoga studio, but in New York. So like, that's so weird. And then I was like, oh, should we like get lunch or something? And so we started to just like chat a lot about business. And at the time, like I had my own tech consultancy and I was working with a lot of brands and we used this content company to, you know, do like all the content and the marketing videos for our clients. And Kristina was looking for an internship and I was like, you know, this is like really your vibe because she like loved content.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should definitely interview with them. Like, I think that it would be like a really great opportunity for you and they'll probably be really understanding about like your, because, you know, when you're a model, obviously like modeling can be very lucrative and Kristina was like making, you know, great money doing that. So she really didn't want to like lose her salary and also like, you know, have
career
just
jump.
Internship, you know? So I was
always
like, they'll
hard.
be super flexible about it. And so we started to work together a lot and we just really liked the way that we worked together. We found that we had a very complementary skill set. And at the same time, like we also just felt like we worked for and with a lot of men.
Wow.
And it was just like a lot. This sounds super random, but I'm just going to say it because I think sometimes when you're like...
No, give it to me.
When you're like really tall and like, you know, kind of got it going on, like people really come at you. It's like... And I think that, you know, we both had a few situations like because we were working with a lot of different clients and like partners and we were just like...
Men were inappropriate.
Yeah.
I'm just going to, let's leave it there, but they were very inappropriate. Yeah. And it was frustrating because I was just finishing college and as Sara mentioned, I wanted to pivot. I wanted to get out of modeling. It was fun, but I knew I had too much to say on set. Like,
this is not my thing. I gotta be talking.
I was like, I have to there's a lot to do here. And I don't know if this is great, but my brain is just firing in all directions. So I loved content. I thought that was the future, especially with like Instagram. And when Instagram first rolled out, my agents would like sit us in the agency and they would tell us how to promote ourselves in our careers. So anyways, that's how I really wanted to get into content on the other side of it. And that's how we ended up working together. But yeah, men were inappropriate on many occasions. And, you know, I don't know, that's just the world we live in. And hopefully it's a better world. But
I mean, we literally could go into like a 5-hour episode about this. I'm in this world day in, day out. I'm in sales. Obviously, it's a predominantly male-owned world. And especially the organization that I work at. So if anyone has many, many stories being a saleswoman, it's me. So we would can literally talk about that for hours. And I'm just so proud of you both for getting out of that situation and coming together and creating what you have now, which is an amazing women-owned company, Vitaclean. And I guess from like my point of view, looking into your world, like, what was the reason why you created this company? Like, what was the root cause?
I mean, we almost like to say by accident. It wasn't like we set out to have a showerhead company. While we were living in London, we're both experiencing a lot of skin and hair issues separately. I had severe dry scalp, eczema all over my body. My hair was really brassy and it was falling out. I was trying to grow it. I was trimming it. It literally looked like a broom. And I've always had really good hair. So I couldn't figure out what was happening to the point where I thought it was something internal. So I started getting all this blood work done. I was just spending so much time almost obsessing over like what was happening with me because I thought there was something seriously wrong. And my hormones were fine. My blood work was fine. Besides missing out on some vitamin D, living in London is very common. I was really healthy because I've always taken really good care of myself. Yeah. And Sara, she can talk a little bit about what she was experiencing while she was in London as well.
Yeah, so I would get really hot, red, irritated skin after a shower. And also when I was washing my face. And then on top of that, I would get really brassy hair. So I would always like be in the salon trying to overtone it and like overusing purple shampoo. And we one of the things that Kristina and I always bonded over was like beauty products and wellness.
Like, what cream are you using?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And then so we were really confused because I would say that we spent, a lot of money on beauty and wellness and we just didn't feel like we were getting great results.
Nothing was really working.
Yeah, nothing was working. And then just one day, Kristina, I jumped a step there, but Kristina
I ended up moving into her spare room
as well. She ended up moving
Oh,
into
I
my
love
place.
that. In London?
Yeah.
London, yeah. And then our shower just completely stopped working. And so we had to call this plumber and he came with like all his equipment and he was like, "You've got a sludge problem." And we were like, "What?"
What's sludge?
Hold on. We got to talk about this.
Yeah.
So sludge is like a black, like
Oh, God.
tar substance that gets collected in pipes, especially if you live in a hard water area, because hard water has a high mineral content.
Okay.
And with pipes naturally corrode over time. And the corrosion, other particles, debris, pipe rust, and hard water, which calcifies around the pipes, creates sludge.
Oh my God. And we're like intaking that and like through our pores, skin, all of it.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
so
he was like,
gross.
"Oh, this is common." I was like, "Wait, what? What do you mean this is
Like,
common?" We're living in London. It's
Yeah.
not like we're living, not to sound
Yeah.
insensitive, but we were living in London, which is a very well-developed city. So it was very shocking to understand that this could be happening. And that's when we had the light bulb moment. We're like, "Oh my God, maybe this is what's causing all of our skin and hair
Wow.
problems."
Yeah,
Wow,
It was,
so
it was crazy.
I feel like when like situations like this happens, like especially with like our physical appearance, it's so difficult because I don't know, it can feel exhausting when you're not able to find the solution and there's all these problems happening either A, internally or B, it's showing up physically. And it can become exhausting. Like even for me personally speaking, last year, like transparently with you ladies, I was telling Kristina on the phone, but literally 15 UTIs. And like that's freaking painful, A. And like B, it was like, what in the world? It's like I cannot be intimate, like enjoy my sexuality.
Yeah.
And also like beyond that, like feel good about myself, like operating in the world.
Yeah.
With this fear and just not feeling healthy. And I wasn't able to find the root cause. It like took me like 8 months, like constant blood work. But I ended up finding the solution. And for me, it was really just like slowing down and like looking at all of the possibilities. But like to get to that point, it's really exhausting and does take a toll on your confidence. And so I'd love to learn like a little bit more from you both, like individually, like what that internal process looked like for you and like kind of how that affected your mental health.
Yeah. I'm sorry that happened to you.
It's
and
okay.
It's horrible.
I'm glad that you found a solution.
Many supplements, and like I don't really fully know what is like the main supplement, but I think it has to do with like my gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all roots from the gut.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, talking about confidence and
Yeah.
at that time, I mean, I used to shoot like editorials and be, I just be like the face of brands. And at one point, my hair just turned into nothing. And that was just so hard because it was affecting my career and my confidence. And in a job like modeling, you have to look really good. Like your skin and hair has to be healthy. You have to take care of it. So not being able to find a solution was really crushing me. But I believe it was a pivotal moment because it really pushed me to take that leap and be like, okay, what's chapter 2 of my work life?
Yeah.
So having that experience where you're having a conversation or you're trying to present a presentation and there's like dandruff falling on the shoulders of your blazer. It's just, again, people can sometimes be like, that's vanity. It's not vanity because it consumes you. It could consume you. To me, it was my whole world and it affected my everyday. And I know it sounds wild, but these things happen to people. Or when I had eczema, I would like not wear short sleeve shirts because I was embarrassed. I felt like I had a disease or something, especially because I couldn't figure out what was happening. So having these small things that show up on your body and affect you mentally or are part of your health and affect you emotionally and mentally, it takes a big toll on your confidence.
It does. Thank you for sharing that. It's really relatable, and it's really interesting because I think when we see, like, you two on social, you're absolutely gorgeous and you're glowing. And I think as women, like, consuming that content, like, we don't really see like what's beneath any of that. And so for you to open up about that story, like, it becomes so much more relatable for us. And I think that's so important when storytelling and like creating and building a brand. So the fact that like you're able to sit here and share that is like freaking amazing.
Thank you for creating this space, because we've seen such an amazing opportunity to share these things that are so sensitive and vulnerable, but have helped so many people. And throughout the journey of building Vitaclean and seeing the reaction and reading the comments, people reaching out of how this has been life-changing for them, makes it also worth it.
So freaking cool. What was your experience like?
So I have a few things to say on that. So when we started Vitaclean, I was actually really sick. Like, I had like a really, really sick gut. I actually have no idea what it was from. It was almost like fine. I was in LA and then I flew back to London, and it was like it almost happened like overnight. I went from like a perfectly well person to so ill. Like, I had like chronic fatigue. I had hives on my face. So like that was especially with the hard water with the lime scale. So for those of you who don't know what hard water is, like hard water, it's like a high mineral content within our water supply. Okay. So whenever you see like on dishes or on your shower glass, the white speckles, it's something called lime scale. And that's like hard water. So for someone who was having the issues that I was having, like I developed a crazy allergy to so many foods, alcohol, like I'd have one sip of alcohol, full on hives on my face. Something as simple as just splashing my face with hard water would make it so red and irritated and extremely hot. And so I felt that I was accumulating all these products so that I could like take on the world, which was like green concealer, which I just became so obsessed with. It's funny now that I'm wearing all green all the time.
What is green? Oh, like the one that like hides your
It
pimples?
hides like redness. So it's supposed to counteract like redness. And it's when like a normal concealer won't actually do it. So basically I would use this green concealer, like paint myself almost like war paint.
Yeah.
And then like another concealer and then another concealer. And it was just so weird because like I would look in the mirror and I would say, oh, like that looks really great. I look really normal. And people would be like, why are you green? Like,
really?
It was just like stripy, and because like it was almost
very green.
A body dysmorphia thing, like what looked good to me, hiding my condition, especially because I felt so hot all the time. My face was so hot. And the shower was just like always aggravating it. And yeah, luckily I actually was I went to like all these doctors. I had loads of tests, like colonoscopy, endoscopy. I actually had my 2 years ago I had my gallbladder removed.
Oh my gosh.
And like I had healed my gut by then, but I think that's probably what happened. Like maybe I got a gallstone or something like that. But no one brought that up at the time. So I was just basically, I feel like the gut's a funny thing. Like doctors it's almost like they don't really know. They're like, just go for a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, and they don't really know what's going on with it. And I feel like it's something where we turn to people like in wellness or on Instagram for all these kinds of remedies.
Or even direction.
Yeah.
Of how to navigate that.
Yeah. So, it was Kristina and I, we actually both experienced some gut problems, and we brainstormed.
I think everyone has a gut problem.
Yeah,
and like crazy. Western medicine is like, they just don't give a fuck.
They don't care at all.
Yeah.
No. And this is an example of how we worked really well together, but we actually brainstormed this amazing drink, which was a solution, which I can give you the recipe after. It's a bit long to go through.
Yes.
But,
I haven't needed it for a minute.
Yeah, neither. And I have to say, like, you know, since we were using Vitaclean, like even if I had experienced gut problems, I would not experience the same amount of redness and irritation in my skin. And so it is, look, I think that wellness it's such a holistic approach. Like it really is like an overall thing, and you have to find like what works for you, what supplements work for you. And you know, all that we can say is that Vitaclean has just been to us like the real epicenter of that wellness product that we need in order to you know, exist.
That's freaking amazing. And thinking about like your specific, I don't know, like confidence and wellness journeys, I think it's kind of hard to like look at your story, or I guess easy to be like, okay, you had, you know, confidence issues, all of this skin wellness issues, and then you started this company. But I think like we miss like the journey in between that. And so like, how did you ladies kind of go from being like in this hole of like not really knowing what was next and like finding that motivation inside to be like, it is up to me to find that solution? Like, I would love to understand, like, for my 20-something women listening, like, we love you, you've got this, but like, how can we provide them with the steps to be like, this is what I did to like find that motivation within?
Rapid fire for me in terms of advice is one, you got to test and try. You got to test and try. Like, I think there's nobody, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I think there's beauty in graduating and having all that knowledge, but then there's also a lot of good that comes out of experience. And when you try, go do every internship. Like, definitely try it all. Like, I went to FIT, and a normal person at FIT would have 7 classes that would have 3 internships and like 2 jobs. Like that's what it was. But everybody that's come out of that school, I've seen a lot of people just crush it. You know, they do so well. So even if you're in a space that you don't have access to all of these internships like New York or LA, everything's really remote right now. And if you reach out to companies and just share your experience and what you want to learn, even for us, for example, we have a lot of people reaching out to us. And if there's an opportunity for us to offer them a short-term internship that potentially could turn into a position, we do. So don't be shy. Ask, and find some mentors and ask them questions. And the other thing is, like, you got to believe, you know, and there's a difference between hope and believe. And I have to thank Joe Dispenza for this. Like, he's like, hope is passive, believe is active. When you believe and, you know, you manifest and create a path for yourself, even if you're unsure, there's a way that your body like reacts to it, and having that belief pushes you. So even in my darkest times, or when I felt not confident and confused and lost, I still had a lot of courage, and I still pushed. I never let myself like sit and cry and like, you know, freeze and not be able to operate. Even at the times that I was like most scared, or when we were starting a company and there was a lot of questions and there was a lot of like high pressure things at stake.
Wow. I really, really resonate with that. And like for me, it's been crazy because I think with this podcast, like I've been doing this for 3 years, and a lot of people would like stop at the point that I'm at because I'm not like almost 30 yet. But I know what I have, and I know what I have to offer. And it's like not hoping anymore. Like, it's happening either way. And I think that's almost like what believing is. And I think it's all has to do with like action. And like, even if you don't really feel like it all the time, you just like, you have to be your own advocate and like make it happen and show up.
And one last bit, it all takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
People think it happens fast. It takes a lot of time. So be patient with yourself and be your best advocate.
I really appreciate that.
Goes to you.
What do I think in terms of motivation? So I think that there's a few things that you can do.
Yeah.
I think you should like introduce yourselves to people. I think it's really important to, like, if someone has like a great job, or if they've started a company, or you admire them in any way, it's really great if you just like introduce yourself, like really try and make them get to know you. Like, why, like, think about, why am I interesting? Like, what do I have to offer? I think people, it's like with what Kristina said, people are sometimes really shy. And I think the more that you can work on that, the better that you will do. Because at the end of the day, it is like, it's not even about a company or the people or the journey. It's about putting yourself out there. Like, that's step one. And that's the hardest thing, because it's like the confidence that you have in starting something with like one follower, or I remember we got our first customer. It was so weird for us to just put a shower head out there, like a random shower head which had like vitamin C. It was really hard. And I think that hurdle was probably the biggest hurdle that you'll ever go through in starting a company. I think now after Vitaclean, if I was to start something else, I would definitely feel more confident, and I wouldn't feel like taken aback that I was putting myself out there again. But that's definitely the most complicated thing.
It's so true. And I'm wondering, like, even because I know this is like this is speaking to like being an entrepreneur or even just going out there in your career. Like, I wonder if we take like 2 steps back and like how this would apply to like, just being a woman, and maybe if you have like skin or beauty issues, you're not feeling confident within yourself. Like, how were you guys like able to like overcome not feeling like the most beautiful version of yourself, and like regardless of that?
I mean, life is ups and downs, so you can't hang on to just I will do something when I feel good. That's got to go out the window from now. Like, you got to do it regardless.
My girl. My girl.
That one's for you.
Love it.
You got to do it regardless. You just got to keep pushing forward. Some days you'll have bad days, and some days you'll have good days, and you just have to know that like it's a journey. It's not a destination. As cheesy and as repetitive that sounds, it's really true. And sometimes hearing it over and over again.
I mean, when we started Vitaclean, we did not feel good. Like, and that's not just like, oh, we have some skin and hair problems, let's fix it. Like, Kristina and I, we weren't in great, like, I was super sick, and Kristina was having issues of her own. We both had confidence issues. We were both like, it was really new for us to start a product. Neither of us had done it before. But we still did it. Like, we became, resilient.
Pushed through.
And we pushed through. So I don't think that you should wait until you're like, oh my God, I feel awesome and confident. Let me start a company. Because it is, and sometimes we feel like shit now, and we just have to keep going through the day. Like, it's not.
And it's not only starting a company. Like, there's nothing wrong with working for people and feeling inspired. Like, certain companies
Takes a certain type of person.
Yes. And if you're not that certain type of person, doesn't mean you're like not better than or worse than, like, that doesn't matter. It's some people have different ways and structures that they operate well in, and honestly, go out there, get as much experience as you can. And if you are entertaining entrepreneurship, you could do it on the side. You can play around with ideas. It doesn't have to be the serious thing. I mean, it is serious, but it doesn't have to be like, I need to go out there and raise $30 million to be able to start, and I need a whole team of people and experts, and I need celebrities on my board of directors. Like, you could do it gradually. So find it something that you gravitate to, but get out there as much as you can. Don't be shy. Ask questions. Get curious. Show up. Be persistent. Follow up.
Yeah, I love all of this, and I think it's so true, because when we look at the world of like content creation and even podcasts, of course, like, one of the main types of niches or industries that people interview are a lot of entrepreneurs. And I love that, because like, I'm an entrepreneur myself, but I also want whomever is listening, that like, if you do not want to be an entrepreneur, like, we love that. Like, that is amazing. I do not think
you might be smarter than all of us.
Yeah, exactly. You're probably smarter than all of us, but like, I think the message just goes to everyone. And I think all of the same rules or just advice, tips, resources that we are giving out to entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, it's for all of us, because I think regardless of where you're working, you are your own entrepreneur.
Exactly. For yourself. You're building your own company. You are your own business, your own brand, and you're going to keep evolving and growing, and just stay hungry and curious.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm also curious, like, the fact that you two are friends is beautiful. How has your friendship supported, like, successfully building this company? Like, even in terms of like a confidence level? So
I think that, I mean, people ask this question a lot about partners, and I think it's all about dynamic. And I mean, for instance, someone asked me for some advice the other day, and I had a call with them, and they were 2 founders, and you could just straight away tell that there was just no dynamic there. It was really, and I think Kristina and I, we always had a really good dynamic. Like we were always really aligned with how things wanted to be. I would say honestly, as our business gets bigger, like we both live in really different places now, and we separate like our personal and business quite a lot, because it is just so intense, the business side of everything, that I think we both just kind of like, you know, it's like we work together 14 hours a day. And so it's like,
insane.
in the beginning, it was definitely a lot more like chit chats. We'd be like, oh, I feel like this, I feel like that. And I feel like now we kind of just like...
Yeah, I mean, now we have teams and systems in place and processes, and, you know, we've evolved as people, and it doesn't mean anything besides the fact that we're just trying to find a healthy balance for each other. So definitely a lot more professional, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, we're still always would be there for each other. We still have the dynamic of making decisions together that we're both aligned with, which has never been something we struggled with. We've always been very aligned, even if we have had a lot of struggles or hard times in the company where, you know, things were like COVID, like that was crazy.
Craziness.
Yeah, just not being able to get supplies, like trying to figure out how to ship things out when all the warehouses were closed and the factories, the production lines were a lot less frequent than you know, normal, with not a lot of people. So you just have all these different factors coming into play. So, but we always felt aligned in where the business is going and how it's growing, which feels good, because when you have a lot of friction there, it's really difficult.
I mean, I can't imagine. I feel like having a business and especially being partners, like the chemistry and like sharing those values, kind of like a relationship, there's like not really a difference. So it's beautiful. Give me 1 second. Are we good on the camera? Because I heard a weird noise.
Yes, it like auto turn on, I just turn it back on.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Also, what's the minute mark?
The minute mark? That's a good question.
Just so we know the timing.
Okay, no worries.
This one, it's about 30 minutes.
Cool. Amazing.
A little bit over.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Okay. I want to make sure, because the last time we
How
recorded...
long do you want to go to, like 45?
Like maybe 45?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we can start wrapping.
Because the last time...
Phone is buzzing.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Just turn it off.
It's on silent. Should I just like put it in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put it right there.
Thanks, Sam.
course.
And we can just continue?
Yeah. Everything's good.
Amazing. Yeah, and I think especially like going back to the start of Vitaclean, and I know, Sara, you said that you guys started when you were not feeling your best. Like, what did that look like in terms of like a friendship on the emotional side? Like, I know we talked a lot about like the business side and having that compatibility and having those really healthy boundaries, but in terms of like being there for each other emotionally through this journey, talk to me a little bit more about that. Like, I think especially with relationships, I know this is kind of my mentality, but I think a relationship is all about just being there for one another. And like, if I only have 40% one day, then I know that my boyfriend can be like my 60%. So hopefully
Sometimes nobody, yeah, it was, we were good. Sometimes nobody's any percent.
Yeah. Like, I would love to learn like how that dynamic.
You just, again, you gotta do what you gotta do,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes you just can't be there at all, and you just have to understand that person, give them space, or give yourself space, and just ask for boundaries. But, you know, it hasn't always been easy, because when you start a business, there's a lot of things you got to figure out. You got to figure out your core values, your accountability charts, who's responsible for what are the first 3 months look like? What are the first year look like? You know, what problems are you trying to solve for? So it was, you know, a lot of conversation around that, but entrepreneurship could be really lonely sometimes, because not many people understand the day-to-day and what you're going through. So having, you know, a business partner that is able to understand and be sensitive towards, you know, all these different factors and situations happening, it feels a little less lonely.
Yeah, I mean, when we started, we were quite literally like living together, working together.
I mean,
working
living together too.
With the content company, like there was not a piece of our lives that was not intertwined, and we lived like that for like 3 years or something, or 2 years. Yeah, so it's like
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
So you know, we know each other. It's almost like sisters, I would say. But I have to say, I think that we've been super lucky. Because I've seen so many business partners, even in business, for like a shorter amount of time than us, and it just ends up in like lawsuits and fighting, and
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
It's ugly
It's a
and
norm.
Yeah, it's really ugly. So when people ask me about partners, I would probably say not to get a partner, even though I
Yeah.
think our situation is ideal. I haven't seen a lot of situations work out like
most
that.
of the time it doesn't. I think there was statistics about like 90% of companies fail because co-founders can't get along or can't agree or something. So I think we both also, and our North Star was making this thing work. So we were able to like put aside all the like drama and BS when it was there and be like, okay, like this is a business we're gonna run. You know, there's a business we need to run, and there's responsibilities we have. So like, I don't know, go take a walk, figure it out.
Yeah.
The deadline's in 10 hours, like deliver.
We also got a dog as well. I think that really helped things. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, Sara got a
Well, I
dog.
got a dog. Well, it became our dog.
And then,
but
you know, it's so hard when this cute little thing is in your home.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's mine too.
Oh.
yeah, so we raised the dog, we looked after the dog. So it was like having a child as well as Vitaclean. So I think the dog
It was a lot.
That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you know,
Like the little
definitely.
emotional support system.
Yeah, I
little
think,
fluffy animal.
I think it's
Yeah, I think we were the dog's emotional support.
Yeah. Wow, I'm like super shocked and like impressed by you ladies, because like thinking about some of my like past living friendship situations, and then even thinking about like building a business together, like there's so much that goes into that. So
Yeah.
freaking snaps to you both
Thank
for
you.
proving to us women that like it is possible. Not that everyone should do it, but
It's not easy.
not easy.
You have to really learn how to be a great communicator. So that's really important. But again, like at the end of the day, I have to say is like when there's something bigger than just your mood of the day, you kind of figure it out. And you know, now we're that was like the first few years. But you know, the first few years of Vitaclean, we were in full time everything. Like we both still had other ventures we were pursuing, and you know, it was an e-commerce business we were trying to figure out how to build because we had a problem. We found the solution, and we were like, we have to bring a solution to the world. So it wasn't like this is our ninth time building a company. So there was a lot of that. So we had separation and division in other parts, but it was really definitely intense in the beginning.
I appreciate you saying that, because I think a lot of people maybe get the wrong impression where they're like, oh, like they just started this company, but you in fact did have, you know, your own like financial stability while you were starting to create this. And I can really relate to that. And I think it's so important for my listeners to hear that, because like we love having a 9 to 5, like have it. There's so much power in that.
There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5.
Thank you.
Really.
Like health benefits, financial stability, like that is sexy. Like let's have a moment for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want to ask you ladies something, like just individually would love to hear your two answers, because I think this is so powerful. Like knowing that my beautiful people are listening are women in their 20s. What is one thing you wish you knew when you were in your 20s? Like if you could go back now to your younger self, like what would you want to tell her?
Ask more questions. Just don't be afraid to reach out. Really, people are not scary. People are not that scary. And even if you reach out and you feel like you get rejected or you get the answer you want, it doesn't matter. It's not personal. Just keep asking questions, get curious, and reach out.
I love that.
I think it's really important.
Powerful.
everything's most likely going to be okay. You know, I just think everyone gets so worried about like the future. What if? It's like, I sometimes think just get through the week.
Yeah.
You know, and then if you just keep getting through the week, then like suddenly you're like, oh wow, I actually achieved what we were meant to achieve. I think sometimes people overthink, and you get so caught up in the negative outcomes that could potentially, most likely, never actually will happen, and it's like really pointless energy.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it's really exhausting.
Yeah.
And I think that, yeah, definitely when we first started, I was always like, what if this doesn't work? And like, it's just not.
That's normal though.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that.
Literally me every day.
Same.
But like it's future tripping, and like why are we creating something that doesn't exist or hasn't shown up? Okay, ladies, amazing advice. I'd love to introduce you to a section called Syllabus Steps, which is an opportunity for us to get a little bit more detailed information about what has helped either your health and wellness beauty routine, or even just developing more of a strong and solid inner confidence. So syllabus steps. So really like any resources, tools, podcasts, books, like routines that have helped you level up your skin beauty routine or just overall confidence. Like any last thoughts?
If you guys DM me, I'll send you a screenshot of my Audible with all the books I love. I like, it's too much to list right now. I'm a big reader, well, listener,
Yeah.
I guess, because I'm very active. Like for me, it's like efficiency.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can I be really efficient? So like I walk my dog, I listen to podcasts. I'm like outdoor hiking, I'm listening to podcasts. I'm doing anything, I'm listening to a podcast. I just find them so helpful and so full of resources, and just have a few favorite shows and also audiobooks. Actually, that's the other thing. So DM me, I'll send you a screenshot of my favorites. Really awesome. In terms of skin, I've always had a routine where like less is more. I often definitely filtered water. Don't wash your face in unfiltered water. I'd like wash your face in the shower with Vitaclean. Like, do not wash your face in tap water that's unfiltered. And I use micellar water. I don't over cleanse my face, and I have a few favorites like I don't know, why am I forgetting the name of the scrub? I actually made a mental note not to forget it, but it's called the Doctor's Scrub, and it has like mini crystals. It's really good. DM me and I will show you what it is. That's been a game changer for me. Also, I ice roll all the time. So those are like few little things that have been a game changer. And on a health, like inner health advice, I think the biggest thing that I've seen lately is, again, everybody has gut problems, but I took a gut test with Biome. Do you know Biome?
Yeah.
Yeah, super easy at home, affordable. It wasn't expensive. I got my results and I saw that I had like certain things that I needed to create more balance around. And I got prescription probiotics, which have been really helpful. And just checking that every 6 months, I think is really good, because there's so many things that root from the gut. And sometimes if you go to your doctor, it's just complicated. I think we all had an experience where we could say that hasn't really worked the way we wanted it to work. So be your own guinea pig, test on yourself, and always stay curious and ask questions. I know I said that a lot, but I'm making a point.
No, I love that. I think that's everything, to be honest.
Yeah.
So for me, I think castor oil, I feel like has really changed my skin this year. It's been amazing. Like, it's just, even I used to use something, like Latisse. It's like what makes your eyelashes grow, like it's prescription. So I was using that for years, and I actually find like now I just put castor oil like all over my face and neck. It's even like my lashes, I don't even need to use that anymore. It's really, really good.
I mean, your skin is insane.
Oh, thanks.
Both of you guys, like glowing.
Yeah,
So are you.
No, but it's not glowing like how you're, like, your skin is beautiful.
Once you've been using the Vitaclean,
I know.
For
I'll keep you guys posted.
at least a week.
At least a week. It's been a day.
Yeah.
So.
We get a check report.
Yes.
1 week later.
I love it.
One
Sorry,
of the things as well, I started using again this year, and I think you guys have it here because we have it in the UK and they have like a US branch, but Dermatica. Because I was suffering from hyperpigmentation. And they have like a hydroquinone tretinoin cream that I've been using, which was like really, really good, especially because I used it a few years ago. I think even before we started Vitaclean, and it just used to irritate my skin too much. But now that my skin's a lot stronger and I use like the castor oil, my skin absorbs it a lot better. So even I can put the castor oil on, leave it, and then do the Dermatica and then the castor oil like an hour later or something. That works really well. Also, like, I've gotten really into circulation lately. I found this like amazing lymphatic drainage massage girl who's just so cool, and she was like, you have no circulation in your legs and gut. And so one of the things that has helped with that a lot is like Genti Beauty Bye Bye Cellulite, which she put it on, and it's a bit shocking because like you go really hot, like it's so hot, like you almost feel like you're on fire. But you get used to it. It's like
on your like whole body?
I do it on my tummy and on my legs. Actually, I went to hot yoga this morning. I put it on before that was super hot. Like, it's really, but it was good. It's like, it's because it's, otherwise, like, you don't, I just, like, when I would put hot water on my legs and stuff, I was getting like, no blood flow. And now, like, I have so much better, like, it's amazing. I feel so much better for it. Another thing that I've tried recently is estro control. It like controls your estrogen levels.
Okay.
And that's really good for like mood, cellulite, water retention.
Do you put it on your face?
The estro control's a pill.
Oh, well, I recently heard that girls been putting like estrogen cream on their face and it's been amazing.
Oh, amazing.
What?
Yeah, I need to look more into it. So I don't want to
Okay.
I don't want to speak about it. I just
Okay,
learned
let me
about it
know.
like very
Okay.
recently. Estrogen cream on your face like
These
once a week.
pro tips, you guys.
Well, let's discover the estrogen cream.
Yeah, not yet.
If anybody knows about this, can you please let us
us
know? I was like blown away. I'm like, wait, what?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt
it's
you,
awesome.
but I got excited. I'm like, wait, you know about this? I've been trying to dig in.
Amazing.
Yeah, that sounds so good. And in terms of like trying to improve your knowledge, I love to read. I love reading articles, podcasts as well. I think YouTube videos as well are like super informative whenever you have like specific questions to things. And definitely just try and meet as many people as you can. Like I met, he's like this artist called Bradley Theodore. He lives in New York. He's super cool. And I remember he told me like 10 years ago, he was like, when life gets bad, hit the streets. And I think there's like something really cool about
Yeah,
that.
I love that.
Yeah, because it's like, if you kind of like sit in your house and you're like with your laptop, it's a bit, I don't know, whereas
Lonely.
yeah, it's a bit lonely and it's a bit crap. So like, I think if you can kind of hit the streets, meet someone super interesting, even if that's like a friend who like really makes you feel good
Yeah.
and like gives you energy, I think that that's just something super positive, because it's not even like who you meet. A lot of it is mindset. It's like who can get you in the right mindset again. Because that's the most important thing to me. Like if I ever slip
Yeah.
or go down here, how quickly can I get back up there, and what am I going to do it? Because especially when you have your own business, an e-commerce business that sells products every day, you're getting customer service things every day. Like everything is happening all the time, and you have to deal with something, I would say, every single day of the week. Even every holiday we go on, we have to deal with something. So it's like you have to be in a mindset where you can deal with things and still have a good holiday.
Yeah. No, that's so cool. I think it's all about like changing your environment, and I think just getting out there and experiencing freaking life. That's why we're here on planet Earth, is to live and enjoy. And I think whether it's seeing an experience happening in real time, or even if it's like seeing a homeless person and like getting perspective on like what you have to be grateful for, like or even, I stopped on the side of the road like 2 weeks ago and gave this homeless woman, like, I had all these extra snacks in my car. Like just doing that like put me in such a better place. And we're only gonna have that experience if we get outside of our house, away from the laptop, into the real world, staying curious, asking questions, and all of this is so good.
Always having gratitude.
Yeah.
That's a biggie.
Yeah.
Daily gratitude. Every time you feel upset about something, like sit there and be like, I'm so grateful that I have my body that I can move in and think in and drink water in. And like, that's so small, but it's everything. And it's not small, it's really big. But going back to that and just understanding and putting it in perspective, it's like always really helpful.
Okay, ready for a game?
Oh, okay.
Fill in the blank.
Oh God.
You're
Not
like,
good
no.
at these. I'm not a trivia girl.
It's not trivia, don't worry. I hate trivia.
Like pop quiz.
I know, you're like, no thanks. It's coming back to really the regardless affirmation. And I love to take my guest speakers through this because I think it really goes to show this like full journey that we went on together through today's conversation, and hopefully can give an affirmation to whomever's listening to this episode. So regardless of blank, I am blank. And whoever wants to start, jump in. Feel free. And you can just take a second to think about it too.
It's just whatever came to my mind
Yeah.
first. It's like, regardless of what's happening, always have gratitude. I know I just said it, but I really have found that to be an anchor for me, and I hope it's an anchor for you too.
Regardless of your situation, the sun will shine again.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Yes.
Was that right? I don't know the second part.
No,
don't know if that fitted
it was
in.
amazing. Yeah. Ladies, thank you so much for being
Thank
so
you.
real and like showing another side to Vitaclean that people probably don't get to see as much. And seriously, just so honored that you two have come into my studio to make this happen, and would love to share with everyone listening, to my audience, how I'm partnering with Vitaclean. absolutely obsessed with this product. I literally just screwed it into my shower last night and I'm already feeling a difference. Like, number one, the way that the water just like lands on my body feels so good.
Yeah.
And also like I even have started to feel just like the difference of water, the pressure, the way it feels on my skin.
Softer, right?
It's insane.
It's like
soft.
a warm hug.
It is a warm hug. And I'm really excited to share the Vitaclean products with you all. So if you want 15% off Vitaclean starter kit products, please type in regardless. And where can they find this?
So you can find it on our website, www.vitaclean.co. And you can find us at Vitaclean_official on Instagram and me at Sara K. Douglas.
I'm Kristina Velkova, Kristina with a K.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for your space, energy, and for sharing everything with us today.
You guys are amazing, seriously. And again, if you want 15% off Vitaclean products, the starter kit, please type in regardless. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yay! Ladies, that was awesome.